I'm James Mathers from the Digital Cinema Society. Welcome to the Cine Lens panel that we've been holding annually. I don't know how many years. It's been 15, 18 years. And we do this because, we do everything. All the things that we follow are things I'm interested in. I'm a cinematographer. I'm an equipment owner. And I've been, following the trends and trying to make the right decisions. Cine glass used to be a really safe investment, and once you put a lot of money into that, it was safe. The cameras changed every year, but the glass wasn't. And there was basically one mount, the PL, for long time. Now there's lots of mounts. There's electronic lenses, there's metadata, there's anamorphic, just so many choices, and it's hard to find out what's new. So every year we get pretty much every major manufacturer in the business, and we find out what's new from them so that we can try to make the best decision. It's pretty great to get all these guys in one place at one time. And Cine Gear Expo is the place to do that, so that's why we have it here. They're experts, and we'll have a Q&A, but we're going to save that to the end. And please do keep your questions as real questions, not part of the panel, because we want to hear from the experts. So without further ado, I will introduce some of them. First, we have representing Angénieux is Daniel Band, and we have Art Adams is next from ARRI. From Atlas Lens Company, we have Scott DeWald. From Canon is Matthew Irving. From Cooke, we have Christiana. From DZOFILM, we have Bruno Hong. From Fujinon, we have Scott Testerman. From Laowa, we have Stephen Neff. From Leitz, we have Seth Emmons. From Sigma, Jorge Jimenez. And from ZEISS, all the way down at the end, Jean-Marc Bouchou. But Jean-Marc used to sit up here because he was with Angénieux for a long time. So this is your revenge, Other people used to complain that we went in alphabetical order. And I want to welcome also Matthew Duclos from Duclos Lenses. He's our group expert, at the Digital Cinema Society, and he's going to help with the Q&A, and call BS on any of these guys that try to sneak one over on us. I'm first. So let's start with Daniel. Daniel, can you tell us a little bit about what's new from Angénieux?
Is this on? Oh, yeah. Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm the president of BandPro, who is a distributor of Angénieux in North and South America. This year, Angénieux is finally showing their oval iris, which we've been developing for 5 years now. This oval iris will allow you to get the bokeh look of an anamorphic lens on a spherical lens, saving you light and a lot of other cool things. So we're really encouraging people to come to our booth and check that out, the oval iris.
Yep. Art Adams, what do we got from ARRI?
We have an Enzo Prime, and I decided to bring an exciting one. This is the 10.5, so this is the widest one in the set. They go from 10.5 to 250, and the 250 has a 1.4 and 2 times extender. So that'll give you a 350 and a 500, and they're each, I think it's 1.4 is the one stop, 2X is the two stop. These are, they're not exactly related to signature primes. They have some similarities. Signature primes are really, really, really nice lenses. These are a little rougher. I like to say that they're 60% of a signature lens for about 60% of the price. So they'll match in terms of color. The bokeh is very similar. Their rendition of skin is very similar. They've got a little bit more illumination fall off at the edges. They have more astigmatism. So when they go out of focus, signatures tend to be very soft and smooth, and the highlights stay around. Unless you're at the edge at wide open, you're getting a nice little perfect, what do they call, cat's eye. This has a less perfect cat's eye, and if you go out of focus at the edges and you look closely, you'll see it stretches radially, which is a little bit of a different thing. It's one of the things we introduced in order to keep the cost down, but at the same time create a family of lenses that could intercut with signatures if they have to. The idea is that signatures are, in a way, they're the large format successor to master primes. And these are basically the large format successor to ultra primes. If you think of them that way, it holds up pretty well. The close focus is crazy on this. This is 1 to 10. So basically you can get, I think it's about like that at close focus, and you end up being about that far out the front element. The 14 will get you into about 1 to 8. All the other lenses will get you into about 1 to 4. And we're finding these are taken off on tabletop shoots and with food shooters because they don't have to use macros anymore. In fact, the first, there's a guy, Michael Schramm in New York. He's across from our New York office. We brought some prototypes over to him. He's one of the top 5 food shooters in the world, and it was really difficult to get them back. So he is a big fan, and I actually have a bunch of his commercials running on our booth. So yeah, because we were able to loosen up the specs from what we designed with signatures, we were able to create the Enzos and deliver the close focus. And they're fairly lightweight. This one's a little on the heavier side, but they're pretty light. They have a lot less glass than signatures do. They're aluminum instead of magnesium, which is another way we kept the cost down. But they're nice little lenses, and they're doing very well. They're very affordable. Are we talking price yet?
Yeah, that's why I always say, please don't forget the bad news. Go ahead, Art.
Well, for ARRI, it's good news, but I don't know. It's still, we'll see. So a set of 6, the core set, 18, 24, 32, 47, 75, 105 is 87. And that comes with a set of the rear elements that you can use to change the look of the lens, either overcorrected or undercorrected spherical aberration, and basically it just goes right on the back. There's now metadata on the back, so there's a little chip there, and if it lines up with the pins, then you get metadata in an Alexa 35, and it shows up in the viewfinder, goes all the way through post. But we have 2 different looks, overcorrected and undercorrected, with some other flavor going on as well. So that's it for me.
Mr. DeWald.
Yeah. The newest thing this year, if you were at NAB, we had the wide set of the Mercuries. This is the 24, which is the widest. It's almost a field of view as that, but it's anamorphic. 1.5 squeeze. This will focus down to less than 18 inches from the film plane. So it's less than a foot in front of the lens, which is pretty good for an anamorphic lens. You don't hear me, right? This a little bit different. The 32 and the 27 are similar architecture. I think you'll notice that between the 36 and the 32 is the new 32 has less breathing and lower distortion than the 36. So if you have if you want a different look, then you get the 36 Mercury. The 32 would be an ideal choice for that. Price-wise, they're all the same as the regular Mercuries, except for this one's $1,000 more because it's got more glass in it. Come by the booth and see them. And that's what was really new for the last year.
Matthew Irving, we don't have to show that much.
I'll take that. Let's see. Does this work? Test.
Works.
That's working?
Tell us about Canon.
Yeah, Canon, we've got our brand new series of K35s. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I get asked so much about the K35s. I thought I would lead with that, but I couldn't leave enough room for someone to edit me out of context. We pretty much got lenses for every occasion. I hope we have a whole lens table full of them at our booth. I hope you come by and see it. We have our all-manual cinema lenses, our 4 flex zooms, 2 cover full frame, 2 cover Super 35. The full frames are T2.4s. The Super 35s are T17s, and it's a 20 to 50 and a 45 to 135 for full frame, and a 14 to 35 and 31.5 to 95 for Super 35. And I think these are the best. This is the best glass Canon has ever made, so I'm a big fan of it. Even though they're not the newest thing, I thought I'd bring it. We have our Cinema Primes that are very similar to the series we've had in the past, but they are now RF mount. So it has the electronics for the distortion and chromatic aberration correction that the RF mount allows for. So that's the manual side of things. On the auto side of things, we have our brand new series of lenses that come out of stills. So they're f-stops, not t-stops. And we have 2 zooms and currently 4 VCM primes, which I'll explain in a moment. The 2 zooms are a 24 to 105 f2.8 constant and a 70 to 200 f2.8 constant. And the primes are a 20, a 24, a 35, and a 50. They're all around f1.3s. And the VCM or voice coil motor, which means they have elements in them that are suspended in a magnetic field when you attach it to the mount. Very silent autofocus. It's not going to transmit any of that autofocus noise in through your microphone. So these are kind of all of our series that, these, even though they come out of stills, they're very cinema minded. They reduce focus breathing. They have independent iris rings. So it really gives you a cinematic look, even if you're not dealing with the highest end cinema lenses. And all of these lenses I brought contain metadata about lens distortion, focal length, focal distance, and all of this transmits through the RF mount. Except for this, you need different connections for the PL and EF lenses here. But all of this information goes through the RF mount and can come out real time to Unreal Engine to transmit that metadata to your virtual environment if you're shooting on an LED volume. So that's what we've got going on at Canon. I hope you come by the booth and check it out.
Next, we have Christiana from Cooke, excuse me. Yeah, that's Cooke Optics. Been a long day already.
Hello. Hi. I didn't bring it here, but if you could come to booth 102, you can check out our new Pancro 65 millimeter 65 millimeter series lenses. So we announced a few months ago 65 millimeter series lenses in response to my buddy Art over here's new 265 camera, which is going to be the principal camera in like the near future for premium narrative production. We wanted premium narrative lenses, so you didn't have to use the kit lens. I just had no, they make wonderful stuff, and we're just giving that alternative. We're gonna have, and what's unique about Pancro, if you don't know this about Pancro lenses, is Pancro is kind of the original vintage. We've been making a version of those for 100 years now, and they're distinctive in their deep focus fall off. And being able to get that on a format that they're providing is going to be a match made in heaven. This is going to be a new era of premium narrative filmmaking, and we're going to see some great films shot that way. But in addition to things going way up in quality, we're seeing this huge spectrum of content and deliverables in all shapes and sizes. And so we have our SP3 lenses. Since last Cine Gear, we came out with the 18 millimeter lens to finish the 6 lens set. This is a bit more of a mid-market lens. You get that same Pancro look in a smaller form factor. It works with Sony FX cameras. It works with Red RF cameras. This series is just on fire right now. They were seen recently on Adolescence, where they paired with the Ronin 4D. And that's also another case of just having the right lens, right camera, right time. And these things work so well together. And in addition to that, since metadata is such a hot topic right now, I'd like to point out that we've actually been expanding our iData partnerships. And a good example of that is my friend over here, featuring their first iData inclusive lens set. And so Cooke had sort of pioneered this metadata solution over 20 years ago, and we're opening it up so we can make these partnerships work for everybody in filmmaking, because we know not every project is a Cooke project. You're gonna, you want these different flavors. That's what makes this panel so special, is that you guys all have unique visions and you're gonna choose from one of these. And so iData is one of those nice little democratizing factors in bringing everybody together and giving you this kind of choice.
And next we have from DZOFILM, Bruno Huang, and I've got a lot of feedback the last few years. How come there's none of the Chinese manufacturers? And so with the help of Duclos, we reached out to them. We got DZO and Laowa to join the Digital Cinema Society as sponsors. And Bruno, tell us what's new with DZOFILM.
Yes, and firstly, thank you for being invited. It's our great honor to be here for the DZOFILM, because it's the DZOFILM for the first time be here, because I saw the many lens brands be here many years, and this is our DZOFILM first year. So thank you firstly, and also thank you for thank you, and also thank you for Cooke and approve this lens, because I add the iCooke technology inside, and when I sit here and I want to Cooke near me, I think that if he would say no for me. Okay, so I thank you Cooke, and say yes for this one. And let me introduce the new stuff this year. And this year we we full of our more energy and full of more power and to release more new stuffs. And first, this one, the at the beginning is very pretty things, and the housing is pretty, and also the flaring, the image also is pretty, because this one is based on the ARRI. The ARRI is our last year the most hot seller one. So based on that one, we have that foundation. We detune, can I say detune? Maybe no, that just modify it, modify it, or the give the vintage version. So this one is based on the ARRI and give you the vintage version. And the name is Luster. And so this one is limited for 100 sets global. And this one we only sell the 4 sets. We don't sell it individually. And this one is very suitable when you are shooting the storytelling and also the memories. And it's very, very good because it can give you the very good, beautiful amber color. And yes, this one. And the next one is about the prop. And the prop, and this one is the zoom prop, full frame, and the zoom is from the 18 to 28. And this one, the special is the periscope. This periscope, we call it the 360 degree. Why I call it the 360 degree? Because it can rotate in the 2 way. Like I can rotate in this way. Oh, I can rotate this way. I also can rotate it this way. So that's why I call it a 360 degree. That means you can, when you are going to the dreams of first commercial shooting, and you can go into the many different angles. And another biggest things for this one is this part, the front part, it's changeable. It's changeable. Yeah. So this is very, I think it's very good feature. And this one, just mentioned the Cooke technology, and this one, the name is the Vespi 2. I know the many guys know we have the Vespi. The Vespi was not on the market, and so we hope we can explore the Vespi on the market continue. And so we make the Vespi 2, and Vespi 2, the upgrade points, the firstly is the size. The size we make it lighter, smaller, and also adjust the elements inside and the coating inside, so you can get the more beautiful coating color, and also can get the image quality is better. The most important thing is, I think for me, because it's an innovation for us for DZOFILM, we add the Cooke inside, so you can use the lemon pink, and also behind in the rear also have the touch pin to connect the Cooke technology for the metadata. And later the last one is about the Cimera C. The Cimera C actually we established the new brand name is Typoc. At the beginning, we established Typoc brand. We want to focus on the photo actually at the beginning, but we got many feedback from our customers. They think your cinema foundation is very good. Why your video foundation is very good? Why you didn't make it? So we combine the photo and the cinema together and make the Cimera C, the Cimera Cinema. And so this one we hope this one can give more entry level cinematographer can give them choice, and it would like this lightweight that they can use on the gimbal shooting or the Ronin 4D shooting and the run and gun shooting is very suitable for them. Yeah, so those are the new stuffs what we have this year. And our booth number is the 014. So if you want to check more details, you can go to our booth to check it.
So Scott Testerman is next, and Fujifilm has been very, very busy. They made a camera with a huge sensor that's coming out soon. So how do you cover that?
Well, you build a lens for it. That's how you cover it. So at the booth, in addition to our GFX Eterna on display, is also our new 32-90. This will be coming out a little later this year. This will cover the full GFX open gate sensor, and it's a full power zoom. So in addition to it's straight G mount, which means it connects directly to the mount that's built onto the GFX Eterna. But we can control focus, iris, and zoom with the camera. Yeah, and in addition to that, at the booth, of course, we have all of our other glass that we've got on display, including our Duvos, the MKX lenses for Super 35, as well as the Promista lenses for I say Vista Vision, but for full frame. But this is our new lens that will be hopefully have a little more details. We don't have any pricing as of right now, but sometime in the future here we'll be able to provide that for you all. And we're very excited for the release of this because it's going to be a whole new line of lenses that we're expecting to cover the GFX Eterna. It's got the tallest sensor on the market, so we're very excited to have that and have this go along with it.
Stephen,
Yes, Jim. So
even
first,
if, these guys come out with a new lens like practically every single week. So you have a lot to talk about.
it does feel like that. I didn't
Summarize.
bring too much. First, Jim, thank you for inviting Laowa to the Lens Nerd Club. We're excited to be here. Yeah, Laowa for 10, 11 years has been developing different lenses. The company motto I push and I identify with: new idea, new fun. Right? Laowa is not going to make a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens. We're going into niches and weird macro, wide. We've been playing in anamorphic the last few years. So the last few months, the theme of what we've launched has been zoom. So we've got our Proteus zoom lenses, which take our 2x squeeze anamorphics, put them into a zoom range. We've got the probe zoom. We've got a 15 to 24 millimeter T8 and a 15 to 35 millimeter T12 in that Laowa probe zoom range, or Laowa probe, but now you're just adding that zoom. And I'm going to throw, I brought the photo version to leave the Cine version over at the booth, but this is 2 years ago at Cine Gear. I pitched an idea that nobody is currently making a full frame or a fisheye zoom lens. And 2 years later, today is the official launch day. It's real. Matt got to help me put it on a projector the other day. And when it showed up on the walls and the ceiling from the image, it made me very happy. So, yes. Fisheye just hasn't existed in a serious way in a few years. So, bring it back.
Speaking of seriousness, we have Seth Emmons from Leitz, and you guys make some nice lenses and a very long list of different types of lenses. Tell us about them.
Yeah, when you said serious, I knew you didn't mean my outfit. Yeah, so I'm Seth Emmons with Leitz Cine. We're a sister company to Leica Camera, which has a 150 plus year pedigree of making optics for many, many different markets. We know that cinematographers are looking for choice and they're looking for character, and each project often deserves a different look to it. And that's why we offer one of the largest ranges with 7 different sets of primes and a set of zooms that cover from very sharp and clean to very character rich to very small and fast. What we're showing here today, these are the Hugo series of primes. These are based on Leica's M photography glass. So we took the same glass that's in the M photography lenses, put in a proper cinema housing with an LPL, the T15 series for almost all the focal lengths. This one is a 66, which is based on a U.S. Navy spy lens that Leica developed specifically for the Navy in the 60s and 70s that we had the design for, and we just created it to go into the Hugo line. It's a fun lens. We're also showing our Thalia line, which was the first commercially available medium format, extra large format, whatever you want to call it, lens for the original Alexa 65. Now, the Fuji camera, the Blackmagic camera, any of those cameras that come before it. We are introducing a 20 millimeter, which is our widest one in that focal range that'll start delivering next year. And if you want to see what those look like, Dan Lauston's Frankenstein, the trailer just came out recently. He shot that on the Alexa 65 with the Thalias, so it's a good chance to look at those. But yeah, come by the booth and check it out. We've got everything, everybody's taste. We can help you out.
But all serious. All very serious.
Yeah. No, definitely come serious.
Serious lenses. Oh, next we have Jorge Jimenez, and I know that he has lots of interesting news because they just came out with a Sigma line of lenses.
Yeah, so
Launch party, man, I was impressed.
Thank you, Jim. And I wish I could say we were putting out lenses every week. That's not the case with Sigma. And I'm fairly new with Sigma, but it's an exciting time for us because on Tuesday, as you mentioned, Sigma introduced their premium line of Cine lenses. It's the Aizu Prime, which is going to be a set of 12 lenses, all T13 across the entire focal length set. Immediately, we're going to come out with 8 lenses. So at the widest, it'll be 18 millimeters, and then at the longest, it'll be 125 millimeters. This is a step up in large format lenses for us. It'll cover a 46.3 image circle. So very compact. They're just 3.5 pounds, almost 4 pounds. So very compact. 95 millimeter diameter. So keeping consistency with the industry standards. It'll have a ZEISS extended data, so you can retrieve that metadata. Thank you, ZEISS. Sigma took some time. I believe they've been working on this for a few years to make sure that the next step up for Sigma but would be something at a premium level. So really excited about that. I didn't bring them with me, and I don't know if that's by design or if I just spaced on it to get you to come to our booth and check them out. We do have all 8 lenses there on an ARRI Alexa, so you can really get to see how they perform, and they're beautiful lenses. We've been working on trying to describe what the look of it is, because at T13 you just and not only that, but at the different ones you just get that look, and it's a 3-dimensional look is what we're calling it, where the subject really pops out, the fall off is clean and beautiful, the bokeh, everything. I mean, you just have to really see it. We had a cinematographer use it on a feature film that's it's a Warner Brothers feature that'll be coming out at some point later in the year, and it was great to see the close-ups, the emotional look of the lenses and the quality of them. So really excited about it. Aside from that, we're showcasing all of the other different lenses that Sigma's introduced this year, like Leitz, Leica. Sigma's primarily been a photo stills lens company, but committed to becoming masters of optics and image quality. And so, this introduction is Sigma's way of saying, we hear you. We want to be supportive to that, and we want to put out a set of products that can really stand, up to the standards that all cinematographers are expecting these days. What else can I share? Price point, they're going to start at $8,300 per lens. So again, step up from where we were, and it'll be $8,300 for each lens.
Now another very serious lens manufacturer, ZEISS. You guys have been making quality lenses for a long time, and now you're making a middle range zoom.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have been around for a long time for sure, but we always want to innovate and to bring something new to the market. So the idea of the Radiant Zoom was to really bring something creative in a zoom format for full frame cameras. So there's plenty of beautiful lenses for zoom for full frame, but we thought that using the technology, the coating we have on Radiance Prime really will bring something attractive, creative with some texture. So these lenses have, like our Radiance Prime, a very unique blue coating that creates like unique blue flare that really help the cinematographer to create something new and cinematic. 1 year ago, we just released the Nano Primes. They started shipping in June last year. So now we have a set of 6 lenses in the Nano Prime series, all covering full frame. They are designed for mirrorless camera. The idea behind the Nano Prime is to offer cinematographers who have, just entry-level cameras, not like high-end cameras, a possibility to cover the camera with a very creative lens. So all these lenses from 18 to 100 are covering full frame. They are T15. They have a nice gentle sharpness, a beautiful bokeh, and they are very kind of light and compact. So when you use these lenses with your mirrorless camera, you have like really the creativity of a supreme lens, but at really just an attractive price. So we try to innovate every year. These lenses, I just want to mention also, I forgot about the new zoom. They have electronic, of course. They have the extended data. You can use them for virtual production. We have a camera tracking solution called SimCraft Scenario that really help to just create some beautiful image using virtual production, VFX. So these lenses are really fully compatible with that solution.
So I think it's really interesting that some of these traditional lens companies are trying to move down into a larger mass market, whereas Sigma is raising their price and going up the other direction. So Jorge, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so in looking at, where the future of cinematography is going, we see you see more large format production, and Sigma, not knowing what product would come out, I wondered, would we be going the opposite way in terms of a lower price point? But no, in its commitment to really elevate, again, Sigma's philosophy is to stand the test of time, the quality build, the look of the optics. They went the other way. They wanted to make sure that there is a premium lens available that was attainable, and so it's really Sigma's way of saying we want to demonstrate our capabilities of creating a product that can create beautiful imagery.
Art, do you have something to add to that? Going in the other direction, making your lenses more accessible?
Yeah.
Get your mic.
Get my mic. Sorry, forgot about that. Yeah, it's something that happened with the master primes and the ultra primes, and it was a tradition we decided to continue. But with the signatures, they're very, very, very good lenses, but it costs a lot of money to do what we wanted to do in them. So we wanted to bring something out that was a little bit more affordable to particularly owner operators who were working in kind of secondary markets. I spent a lot of my career as a DP in the San Francisco Bay Area, shooting a lot of commercials and corporate and some visual effects and some documentary stuff, and doing a lot of stuff outside of Hollywood. And we didn't really have something that really appealed to those people who more and more are buying their lenses as opposed to renting them. Actually concerned a little bit about the future of some of the rental houses in some of the smaller markets because so many people are buying their own gear now. But we want to be part of that too. So we decided to come out with something that I guess it has a little bit of the essence of a signature in it because they will intercut. But at the same time, if you live with them for a while, you'll see that they're very different lenses. And it's a lens that's got a little bit more of a look to it in terms of what you would expect out of a classic lens. Signatures have a very strong look. They're a very distinct look that is meant for whatever happens next, whatever that may be. I had a young DP tell me she was going to shoot a commercial, and she decided to go with master primes because signature primes are too strong a look. And I loved that. That was a great comment. But these have a bit more of a distinctive look, more traditional look in that there's some classic aberrations in there that you might look for and recognize, whereas signatures are kind of a more balanced treatment, I would say, where they're very natural at the point of focus, and then as soon as they go out of focus, they just become smooth and beautiful, and everything kind of melts away. You lose all the hard edges, and you get a little bit of that 3D pop, where instead of having something sharp against a soft background, we have something that's very natural against a super soft background. These don't quite do the same thing because we can't do that for the money, but we tried to keep the flavor of that in something that's got its own character. Daniel, you have a comment on that?
Yeah. I just wanted to respond with something that Angénieux has been developing, with our Optimo primes. They actually have a modular internal element, and we have a partnership with Tiffin, so any existing Tiffin filter in any strength can be made to be put in the middle. I'm using your lens as a demonstration here. Can be used to put in the middle. Had I known there would be a table, I would have brought the lens, taken it apart for you guys, and shown you right here how amazing it is. Completely new technology, but the internal filter and the iris is modular. So we have different irises. We will come out with more irises, such as the oval, the 3-blade, the 6-blade, the 9-blade. If we decide to come out with more shapes, there'll be more shapes. But this is our sort of response to the market wanting to buy something a little cheaper. This will just stick around for longer. You can do more with it. Rental houses can save money using these concepts. So it's a rear filter, a modular iris, and an internal filter. Any tiffin, anything you want. So
Not cheaper, more affordable.
that's the word.
I can say cheaper. To you, Chris, you also have reduced your price to come down with the new set of lenses. What does a customer give up?
Well, we're doing both simultaneously. We're not a discount company by any means. Well, we're coming out with very expensive lenses and very affordable lenses. No, the idea there is we're always going to be beholden to camera manufacturers. You know, I wish I called out. I just noticed after I spoke that the Fuji team's over there too. Like I'm really excited about the new camera. I think it's going to be awesome. The shirts look good. But we're always going to be in that wake a little bit. It's just in all practicality, it's a camera-driven medium right now. And so as new cameras roll out, there's going to be new lenses. I think that market, though, of, say, FX6, FX9s, really snuck up behind the premium market. You know, we thought as everything was going Venice, suddenly rental houses are telling us, you know what, I'm making my money on my FX6. You know, that's what was renting. That's what was going out. And those are awesome cameras. And so that's where we said, you know, you really doesn't make sense to put, you know, really heavy S7 that might pair really well with a A65 on an FX6. You need an appropriate lens for that camera. And so the SP3s were a response to that. And thank goodness, you know, there became a wave of cameras that fell in line. You know, we were not a red company by any means. I don't think anybody is really, but those SP3s opened up our world. And now a very close second in users are red users. And we're excited to be a part of that world too. And so it wasn't about price. It was about camera. It was about the medium and following that medium. And that's really, I think, something we should all be aware of is growing, is sort of a mid-market medium of not everything being premium. That's obviously going away. Just look at your cinema listings. There's far less movies now than there were a few years ago. And everything's gigantic now. You're not going to the movies to watch romantic comedies anymore, anything like that. And then there's new mediums like verticals taking shape. I don't know anybody that subscribes to them, but I'm reading about it. It seems real.
Boo, boo.
I'm into it, actually. No. Think about like a tilt shift lens using a vertical shoot. That might look really good, actually.
I'm more into diagonals.
We just have to go where that medium's going. So where the medium is, where the cameras are.
Market.
SP3s seem like the right fit at the right time for what we were seeing out there.
Matthew, tell us about the drive to go with the new mounts, the RF.
Yeah, the RF mount, Canon's all in on the RF mount now, and it obviously has a very short flange focal distance, so it's very easy to adapt to other mounts. So we have our Canon branded PL mount now, and we have our various flavors of EF to R adapters as well, some of which can add control rings and all of these things. The electronics in the RF mount also make the whole system very flexible. So we have some of our stills lenses, of course, that do half the distortion correction in the lens and then half the distortion correction in the camera body. So it's a very communicative mount that can make us lower our prices for some of our lenses when the camera body is doing half the work in that regard. And it's now enabling this communication of the metadata as well, straight through the mount and then out the Ethernet ports to Unreal Engine. So it's the flexibility is really there. And of course, at the end of the day, the image drives the decisions, and the ability to get the best distortion-free image from edge to edge with this short flange focal distance is behind everything. that we do with the RF mount.
Now, Scott, you're foisting a new mount on us. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, the G-mount's been around for a while now, and that flange distance of 26.7 has been around as well. But what's great about what we're doing here is now we're opening it up with the size of that sensor to, it's almost a challenge for everyone to see if there's more lenses that can be developed to cover that. Of course, we've got our 32 to 90 that we're going to have, and we've been testing with various other vintage primes and others to test and see if they cover the sensor. We're also very excited for anamorphic capture with our sensor, and it's actually personally one of the things I'm most excited about. So I'm very anxious to see as others develop that. But for us, having an option and having something that's purpose built for the camera is what is the genesis of this 32 to 90 and why it's there, because we want to be able to offer something for everyone. What
are the advantages of that mount?
Of the G-mount?
It just makes it possible to cover that large sensor?
Yeah, so short flange distance means that we don't have, for optical design, it's going to be a lot easier for us to cover that size of a sensor. But it also allows us to, one of the things, include a PL mount for it, or have other third parties develop LPL mounts so that we can then use other third-party glass on our camera.
So you can adapt it easily. You just can't use that whole sensor probably with the...
It's going to depend on the lens design. So there are lenses on the market now that will cover the full 54.78 millimeter diagonal. But, and of course, some of our primes will. The camera itself also has other modes that will be purpose-built for our Primista line of lenses. And there's also a Super 35 mode on the camera, so we'll be able to adapt down to a wide variety of lenses for that, including our Duvos and others.
So he said the A word. What is Atlas doing about anamorphic mounts? Talk about anamorphic.
Well, I mean, the original history of Atlas was, the Orion series, which is really a homage to the Panavision C series, I guess. And, it was designed from the beginning not to be have a character, right? And then the Mercury series was designed for full frame and have more. If you look at the bokehs on the Mercury lenses, they're completely different than they are from the Orions. But I see the 50 millimeter Orion with the diamond-shaped bokeh. I see that in commercials almost every hour on TV, and that was a kind of a mistake on my part when I designed it. But I see it everywhere now, so I guess it wasn't that bad of a mistake. As far as mounts, once again, we've currently support the PL mount. People are asking us about large format, non-anamorphic large format. So there's, we may not be a purely anamorphic company in the future. But we get a lot of input from the customer base as to what they'd like to see, and we just filter that into what's available with our engineering resources.
And Seth, you cover lots of different mounts, right? L mount is yours?
Yeah, Leica has the L mount, which is another shallow flange depth. We have some partners in the L mount alliance, including our friend Sigma. So there's a lot of lenses, cameras, and things in that ecosystem. We support that not with native mount lenses, but with mounts adapters. So we make L to LPL or L to PL adapters. In our lens line, we do LPL, PL, and Leica M mount. So the M mount allows you to use really small lenses on like the DJI 4D, for example, keep it really, really tiny. But we've embraced LPL in the recent years on all of our new development just to take advantage of the shallower flange depth and the fact that production is becoming much more accustomed to working with various mounts.
Okay. I'm going to turn the Q&A over to somebody who's much smarter than me about lenses, Matthew Duclos.
Are we doing audience questions?
Just you ask a few questions.
Okay.
See where we're at for time.
So I'm not going to grill you guys too hard. I think most of you know me. I think one of the most common questions we get is what Jim was just asking about mounts. I see most lenses up here, the majority of lenses up here are PL. Does anybody see, and this is for anyone to answer, does anyone see PL going away anytime soon? Anyone want to take that?
We hope so.
Oh. Well, Art's got a unique perspective. Art from ARRI. ARRI pioneered the PL mount, 40 years ago?
1980s, I think. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, 40 years. Okay. And it was an open standard, still is. So obviously you would like the LPL mount to prevail.
Which is another open standard. And it just makes more sense because PL leaves room for a mechanical shutter that we don't have anymore.
Well, so that's actually a perfect response because we haven't seen the limitation of PL yet. I know theoretically the limitation is speed, coverage, but then we look at something like Sigma with, correct me if I'm wrong, the world's first T13 full frame Cine Prime. I don't think we're seeing that technical limitation yet. So where do we end? Where does PL's life end?
Squeezing the image to the A6, the Alexa 65 through the PL mount was really tough on the Thalias. That pushed the limit. And that's why ARRI switched to the XPL mount for that camera and then now the LPL mount. So that coverage is a limitation.
That makes sense. However, Thalias for the most part were a known, they existed prior. They couldn't be tailored to the LPL mount.
Correct, but they had a different mount originally, the Leica S mount, and they had a larger image circle,
which was very accommodating. The S mount easily accepted that.
Easily, yeah.
But if anybody here is designing a lens from scratch, are there limitations in the PL mount?
Of course, yeah. Size, weight, and cost. Because if you move the element like we did on a nano prime, it's very close to the sensor, like around 20 millimeter flange distance, you can really make the lens lighter, more compact, and more powerful. Like, if you compare our Supreme Prime, which are T1.5, to the Nano Prime, which are also T1.5, one lens, the Supreme, is much bigger, has more glass. So if we can make the camera with like having the rear of the lens very close to the sensor, it's a big advantage. The only issue we have right now, we have the PL mount, which is 52. We have a LPL, which is 44, which is similar to the Canon and Nikon F mount. Making a mount, serious mount, not whatever, I don't want to say they are not serious, the L mount or E mount or whatever, are very good, but they are really designed for photo lenses. If someone brings a mount around 1 inch, 25 millimeter flange distance, which has the lock of a PL mount or LPL mount, which can hold the lens like that without any support, you have a big advantage now. This is, I think, what's missing, and I think the camera manufacturer who are like focused on the short flange distance mirrorless are more photo camera manufacturers, so they are pushing their glass because Sony wants to sell the G Master, Leica wants to sell their L mount lenses, so they are not really bringing that lens, but that mount. But we'll see in the near future if someone comes with a mount like PL mount style, whatever, LPL, with 1 inch flange distance is going to change the world of designing lenses.
So that's a perfect segue. You kind of nailed it. I was waiting for someone to say it. You nailed it. The size and the weight is probably the biggest. Being able to design a lens smaller and lighter. In that regard,
there is something else, though.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. In that regard, where else do we draw the line as far as software corrections in camera or a purely natural, purely optical corrected lens? Anybody want to take that?
Well, after it's just the choice of a cinematographer. Today, if you have, this camera like the FX6, FX9, you have what we call lens compensation. So you can compensate the distortion shading on the image. This is something you can turn on or off depending of what you want to achieve. So some people like, whatever, just image sharp and flat and beautiful for some kind of a scene, and some people will prefer more like something with texture, with fall-off, with distortion. We have a fisheye lens now which has a lot of distortion. We'll be ashamed to correct it on the camera because it's really designed for that. So I think the fact that camera can correct that is great, but it's not going to fit all the needs for creativity for sure.
Thank you, Jean-Marc.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to have to wrap it up now. I love all these lenses. I hope I didn't irritate anybody with my my rudeness, but I love all kinds of lenses, and it's all about choices, So I'd like to really thank these guys generously for supporting DCS and for coming out here today, and that includes Daniel Band from Angénieux, Art Adams from ARRI, Scott DeWald from Atlas Lens Company, Matthew Irving from Canon, Christiana from Cooke Optics, Bruno Huang from DZOFILM, Scott Testerman representing Fujifilm, Stephen Neff for Laowa, Seth Emmons for Leitz, Jorge Jimenez for Sigma, and Jean-Marc Bouchou. I'd also like to thank Matthew here and our volunteer crew. That includes cinematographer Brad Haskell, Enrique Del Rio, and Mitch Gulbin, and Christopher Knell for doing everything else, keeping an eye on sound, doing data management, and he's going to cut these things too. So thank you guys, and thank you audience for coming. Appreciate it.
Yes.